attention to detail, gorgeous visuals, high freedom in gameplay, and a vast open world setting. If a game reaches even one of these, and if it masters the strengths of many, it will be hailed as the masterpiece of masterpieces. When other games are still fighting tooth and nail for the title of Game of the Year, its position as the top game of the year. I'm not just speaking randomly. How many games have sold over 100 million copies? As one of the pinnacle series in gaming history, it's hard to find any flaw with GTA 6. It's the one-year console exclusivity. PC players will have to wait until next year. Death Stranding 2. As the god accompanying the cyber boomerang, Hideo Kojima. In the first game, the word bridged the gap between the game and reality, from initially being misunderstood and mocked by players as a delivery simulator, to being revered as a prophetic masterpiece after real-world events. To truly grasp its profound meaning, it's like a gift that you must carefully unwrap. In the second game, the BB is now 3 years old. Simply put, it's the age where they can say, "I love you, Dad." Encounter in this brand new story. The quality of the game is guaranteed, but it may not be friendly to impatient players. You'll need to have the patience to fully immerse yourself. It's no longer just a game, but more like an interactive work of art. The scenes, visuals, and design have reached breathtaking levels. Monster Hunter Wilds when it comes to combos. The Monster Hunter series under Capcom is a natural recommendation. Monster Hunter Wilds teased, such as 1060, Take Me to the Top Again, as one of their flagship titles. Capcom, known as the god of action games, is definitely a paradise for action game enthusiasts. But the learning curve starts at 100 hours of action gameplay. Later stages can require hundreds to thousands of hours of repetitive practice. Becomes a barrier to entry. Those who love it can't put it down. Those who dislike it avoid it like the plague. The legendary hero battles from each generation. Casual players, beware. Elden Lord, Nightfall. Speaking of distinct gameplay, the Souls-like genre is the first thing that comes to mind. I would call it the paradise of Hidetaka Miyazaki. Isn't this our nameless principal of Mount Hen? Isn't this our wall-climbing character from the Weaving Pavilion? Is this still the lands between? Back to the point. If you're a fan of Souls-like games, you should know about the almost disastrous combo system of Epic. In Elden Ring, players even had to create their own seamless combos. It's unclear whether this was the devs listening to feedback. Collect resources together, cooperate to fight large monsters, and survive shrinking danger zones. The core of the game is its unique time loop mechanic and half nighttime loop during the sunny daytime. You encounter familiar enemies from Elden Ring, but when night falls, classic bosses from the Dark Souls series will make an appearance, bringing an unprecedented sense of oppression and combat experience. It's pretty interesting. From the first trailer, you can already see it. Are locked away, but it doesn't hinder the possibility of trying multiplayer in F. Might be higher. This theme park is definitely worth trying out. The words of the Abyss follows the black myth, Wukong. And now, the village has yet another university student, where a mysterious plague called Yuhor Wall gives birth to terrifying monster-like creatures. Players will play as a female theater actress, full of crises and challenges, to survive in this turbulent era and uncover the truth of her fate. The style leans towards eerie and sinister, as a Souls-like action RPG. Combat is the core gameplay. The game features rich combos, with each weapon having different combo moves and characteristics, with different button combinations, and even trigger the powerful Void Force, dealing heavy damage to enemies. This game highly emphasizes difficulty design. Master enemy attack patterns and weaknesses, while using items and skills to survive. This ensures hardcore players who enjoy challenges. Aside from the village's university student, I think it's almost aimed at becoming the martial champion. And that is Shadow of the Forest, although it is unlikely to be released in 2025. Played the offline demo last year. Black Myth, Wukong producer Feng Ji, said the game is a must-have for martial arts fans in the next 12 years. So please, developers, work harder and faster. It leans more towards martial arts. What's most surprising is the boss actually changes formation based on the number of players. The formation shifts. Such attention to detail is increasingly impressive. During the second phase, when the music starts playing, you can really feel the vibe come alive instantly. If the difficulty is high and there's no supply in the snow, the intense moments are already playing out in my mind. If all the game's battles match the level of this boss fight, I believe success will come naturally. But then again, why am I comparing? To true veteran players, before domestic games find their own style. Whether it's homage or innovation, they'll always be labeled as shadows. But you've got to learn to walk before you can run, right? No matter who the next rising star is, for me, as long as they prepare seriously, they deserve praise from local gamers. Now, the following games. So, let's hand it over to Lang Jie. The person holding your hand might be more dangerous than the monsters. It's Little Nightmares 3. Little Nightmares 3. Players will explore this eerie world and encounter many bizarre monsters. Most of the bosses are giant creatures, and you'll need to use the environment and tools to defeat them despite your small size. One thing worth noting is, if any player dies, it will result in game failure, so players must support each other. Work together. The unique feature of Little Nightmares is its narrative style. Feels just like the unsettling silence. The series' signature core tones. Players who played the previous installments can dive right in. Newcomers who haven't played the first two games need not worry. The story in the third installment stands alone. The co-op gameplay is not too difficult, even those unfamiliar with video games. So, is this game scary? Scary, but what strikes me more than the monsters are the details. Are actually filled with decay and danger. The sticky liquid oozing from the mechanical pipes might be blood. The flying debris in the desert could actually be bits of flesh. It really gave me goosebumps. Since I've played the first two games, why don't we make a bold guess here? What could the ending of Little Nightmares 3 be? A lone escape by betrayal? Or perhaps a sacrifice, leaving hints for future games? Feel free to vote and leave your thoughts in the comments. Wild Planet Revenge. This is also one of the key games I'm keeping an eye on. Only to be kicked out by your employer. The reason: budget overruns. But don't worry, there's no 996 work schedule here. Across 4 distinct billion-dollar planets, you'll need to skin plants, capture cute alien creatures, and even use a lasso to lock them in luxurious cages. Create the most friendly intergalactic junkyard in the universe. Even the CEO would regret firing you after seeing it. Your teammate takes the damage up front, or accidentally knock your teammate off a cliff. After all, friendships in space. While laughing at corporate jokes. This is what true joy on a planet of fun looks like. For both revenge and fun on this happy planet. War and Peace. The title of the game itself holds deep meaning. The developers use this contrast to build a world where healing takes place amidst crisis. If you're tired of industrialized game templates, or the steel jungles of the city, this is where you can rediscover the pure essence of gaming. You farm because you love the land. You fight to protect your home. And every effort you make is gently rewarded by the world. The art style blends ink painting with oil painting, combining the grandeur of ancient Chinese landscapes. Every blade of grass, every tree can be a painting. The development team, with sincerity, seeks to carve out a piece of Chinese rural fantasy in an era dominated by AA games and the delicate intricacy of embroidery. After all, what girl hasn't dreamed of planting a field of gentleness and creating her own peach blossom paradise amidst chaos? Thank you all for your company. There are many more games that we didn't have time to cover in detail. Honestly, there are just so many games coming out in 2025, including the ones already released. It's just that everyone's preferences and time. I hope that with these recommendations, your own sense of emotion and joy, because the meaning of games is not just about playing, but also about the joyful moments and the endless possibilities they bring. If you have a favorite game of your own, feel free to share it in the comments. And the unforgettable moments